Hey guys, Issa here. So I noticed a lot of people are having some difficulty deciding how to use their Third Awakening skill on buffers. It is a little bit complicated, especially on Crusader. I will probably do another one when Neo Enchantress comes out, because she is a lot more like female Crusader. For some of the nitty-gritty of the technical stuff on how you activate it. But for Crusader, of course, first you have to awaken. Neo Crusader, of course. Make sure that you take the punishment skill, even if you're a buff Satyr, because you need it to link it in order to get your quote-unquote like 2A link. So the way that this works is that if you link it to 1A, you get 10 seconds extra on APOC first. It'll be the Final Judgment buff, not APOC. And because it's a buff, you can move it from room to room, which was a big problem for Satyrs before, because we all know that Satyrs were bad in like multi-room content, especially like hard Oculus Satyrs, or male Satyrs at least, had a pretty hard time. And you can carry it again room to room. So those are things you want to link it to 1A when you're doing things like Oculus, assuming your party's fast enough, hard Oculus, legendary dungeons, epic related dungeons, like you can use it for Gao, but I would suggest you use APOC for Gao because it also lasts the entire room. But you can use it for like Shrine and Basement, and it gives you 110%, so 10% extra APOC power that goes to multiple rooms. If you link it to 2A, it's a singular buff for 25% of your APOC value, and it only lasts 20 seconds for one room. But the caveat for this is that you can also activate APOC on top of it, bringing the total buff to 125% of APOC value. So if you link it to 1A, longer length, less buff. Link it to 2A, one room, way big buff. So the 2A link is for like your burst, your raids, Sirocco, any Sirocco boss, any prey boss, anything where you want to do a ton of damage in one room. So the way that this works is, I'm going to go ahead and link it to 1A first, just to show you the simple part of it. Alright, you'll notice here, we got the Final Judgment buff. It's similar to the APOC buff, but notice how it only has 5986 as my stat value. That's because when you link it to 1A, it's still considered as the APOC skill. So you must still be, obviously stacking your ascensions. I'm gonna go ahead and just charge real quick. Alright, that should be enough. Alright, so we know it was like, what, just under 6,000? Let's go ahead and use it again. And now it's 66, it's taking the value of the stats from my Ascension. So make sure when you link it to 1A that you're still using Ascension. This should be a given because you also have to use it for DI, right? So the way that it works in the sense for 2A, when you link it to 2A, so I'll go ahead and just show you that, guys, real quick here. So notice, first of all, that your Ascension buff is for the duration of the skill set to the max. This doesn't really matter for APOC or for Divine Invocation, because those values are taken at the time that you cast them, and because obviously you're stuck in channeling animation, your stacks don't really matter. See, I have 24 stacks here, but they'll disappear the minute that the skill is over. So one more time, you can see it from the stats. See, it goes up for the skill, and that means it only affects the 25% APOC in the singular room. So again, make sure that you guys are stacking. If in an emergency you die in a raid, and you just need to mash the button real quick to get some, so your party can get some damage out, then that's fine. But make sure that before you use APOC, that you're, trying to stack as much as possible, realistically. Alright, so the reason I said I was going to make a different video for Enchantress is because actually the first time I was recording this video, I realized that the order is actually switched when you have to do APOC plus the 3A. So, this in the sense, which gives your team like the full burst buff for, you know, big bosses. And the reason for this is because male Crusader doesn't channel up. Unlike, you know, female Crusader or Enchantress, you can just lay down Apocalypse and, you know, you're good to go. There's not much worry there. Whereas for the other two, as I'll explain later, you have to do the 2A into the 1A, but see that you can't use a 1A here. It's because male Crusader doesn't have the channeling issue, so that's why there's no reason that you should be doing this and then this. 1A, 2A. Alright. So with that said, wish you guys the best of luck. I hope everyone's raids are a little bit easier now. And yeah, have fun playing buffers, please, always. I always push people, make at least one buffer. You know, if buffing isn't your thing, we really as a community do need buffers. At the beginning of every raid, there's always a drought of buffers because they're the most necessary, but some of the least popular classes. Male Crusader especially has a lot of issues with, you know, finding really good players. So yeah, please make a buffer. If you have a buffer already and they're not that good, you know, get them to 100. Get some carries from people. You guys will do great. I believe in you. Alright, take care, guys.